सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। Okay, so we are at verse 38.
Sound coming.
Oh, sound coming. I don't know क्यों हो रहा है ऐसा. I have it at full. अभी भी. Is it like now?
Yeah, better.
Better? Okay, I'll keep it closer.
It's fine now.
Yeah. Okay, I'm glad you told me. Yeah, just let me know in case. Okay, so we are at verse 38 of chapter 3. So whoever has the Geeta can open that.
और रिकॉर्डिंग आपने शुरू कर दी ना?
हाँ, कर दी. So, and everybody please check their mute and unmute. Whenever you want to talk, you can unmute. Otherwise, keep it on mute, please. So we saw that how Arjun asked the question in verse 36, where he said that by what force are we impelled to commit sin, even though we know something is wrong and something as though within us, like a boss pushes us to do, and we do it. And then Krishna Bhagwan answered that it is Kam and not and Krodh. He said, this is Kam, this is Krodh. And then how we saw the whole thing that Kam means desire. And here we have to remember it's like a burning desire, kind of clinging desire. I cannot live without this thing. That kind of desire he's talking about. Those are the culprits. So how we understood that Kam and Krodh both are like two sides of the same coin, because desire is the one who turns into anger. We saw the whole science about it, and he called it a great eater. Desire. It never gets satisfied, and it is a mahapapma. It's like a sinful thing, and they are verenam. We saw that how the likes and dislikes become Kam and Krodh. Likes and dislikes were like roadside robbers. Kam and Krodh become enemies. Enemy, there's the one who chase you everywhere, and you have to kind of destroy them. And one interesting thing, that because Krishna Bhagwan is talking to Arjun, and Arjun is a warrior, he's talking in the language of war. Because that's what Arjun understands. Enemy, how to go kill them, things like that, So a lot of psychology in there, But even if from our perspective, we have to look at them as enemy, because if they are hurting us, that's how we have to look at it. So now, as I told you that Arjun asked one question, but Krishna Bhagwan is answering in many different verses, because he's going through the science of our psychology, science of Kam and Krodh, science of how to kind of, what is it, where does it reside, how to conquer it, because that's kind of the language of the war. So keep that in background. So here we go to verse 38. I'm going to just chant. Dhumre navriyate vannihi yatha darsho malena cha yathol vruto garbha tatha tene mavrutam. Dhumren is by smoke. Avriyate is enveloped, covered. Vanhi means fire. Yatha as. Adarsha is like a mirror. And you will see how Krishna Bhagwan has chosen the words. And as I said, that Bhagavad Gita is more like a subtle language. There's a lot of depth in everything. And every word is chosen that there is a lot deeper meaning behind it. And saints and sages bring out those meaning, and I'll discuss all that. So Adarsh is mirror. Malain is dust. जैसे हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना, मलिन हो जाना. Cha is and. Tatha is as. Ulbena is womb, uterus. Avruta, enveloped. Garbha, embryo. Tatha, so, tena, by it, idam, this, avrutam means enveloped. So in this verse, he's kind of explaining further how this wisdom is covered by Kam and Krodh. And he gave 3 different examples, which is you will see how scientific it is. So he gave the example of a fire covered by smoke, a mirror covered by dust, and a embryo covered by uterus. And why did he say those 3? Because there are 3 different kinds of desires. So one is a sattvic desire, because even to desire for moksha is considered desire. So he's covering all of them. Because if we go backwards, we learned about, how desires come when I don't know who I am, when I have identity crisis, when I don't know my true nature, that I'm that unconsciousness. That's when desires come. Main ye kar lungi to khush ho jaungi, things like that. So even moksha can be considered desire, or sattvic desire, and doing some social service can be considered sattvic desire, or I want to be good. Those are sattvic desires. Rajasic desires are, I want name, fame, money, competition. I want to be better than somebody. All those kind of feelings that we have, that comes under Rajasic. So and then Tamasic is like really baser desires, like when you get the feeling of I want to hurt somebody by doing unfair means and things like that. So when it comes to Rajasic, Tamasic, you will see that how it's opening up more and more now what it is. So fire, when he's talking about fire and smoke, he's talking about sattvic desire. So now desire is kind of opposite of knowledge, because it takes you away. So if you see fire and you see smoke, they have 2 different characteristics, right? Fire is very brilliant, smoke is dark, and things like that. And when उससे धुआं सा निकलता है उस fire में से, तो it covers it. So वो brilliance of fire is not seen. So see how scientific the comparison is with the wisdom. So you have this wisdom that you have acquired through satsang, like what we are doing right now, or reading Bhagavad Gita, or through wise people, and all that. We listen to this wisdom, and then when we listen, we know about it. It is in our mind, but it's not available to us because it's covered by the smoke of the sattvic desire. But smoke is very lightly, थोड़ी सी हवा आती है वो चला जाता है, right? Brilliance comes back. So the sattvic desires are very easy. It kind of अपने आप ही हवा से चला जाता है. So sattvic desires are good to have in the beginning, obviously. But you know that what they say, that in the end you drop all the desires. So that's where this example is coming from, of fire and smoke. Now, the next example is for Rajasic, is a mirror and dust. Now dust, imagine if there is a very thick dust on it. Will it go away with just wind? No, it won't go away. What does it require? It requires scrubbing. So it requires self-effort. That's where the second example is coming. So self-effort, when it's coming, when with self-effort, you clean up the mirror, उसको मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी, हाथ चलाना पड़ेगा उसमें, and it will get clear. So now see the example. Mirror को wisdom क्यों बोला है? Because he's telling you wisdom gets covered, right? Because mirror shows you who you are. So mirror is the one so in Bhagavad Gita, knowledge is, it tells you who you are, right? He's telling you that you are that spiritual being. And now that is covered by Rag, Dvesh, Kam, Krodh and all that. So that's where this example is coming. So once you remove the dust, then the wisdom comes with effort. Third one is the tamasic desire. And look at the example. Now you might think, what is the womb had to do with it? But when the fetus is in the womb, the covering is very thick. And with today's technology, you can know what is inside. With all those, क्या बोलते हैं उसको, that they do? I forgot.
Ultrasound.
Ultrasound. Yeah, my bhabhi is actually an ultrasound person. So ultrasound, you can know, but in say in those days they didn't know. So a baby, it has to mature 9 months before it will come out, and then we will know. So the idea is that the tamasic desires are so strong, and it's not very easy to get out of it. And it requires maturity. It requires time, passage of time, because a mother has to go through 9 months of lot of discomfort, this, that. So that's the comparison, okay, with the tamasic desire. So what is the problem with the tamasic desire? And one of the Swamis analyzed it very nicely. He said, tamasic desires are like in tune with our likes and dislikes. So they are very deep in us, okay? When they are very deep in us, and you will see the next couple of verses, I don't want to jump the gun right now, he's going to explain the science of it, that how when you start justifying your likes and dislikes, even if they are not conducive to your path or your goal, then the trouble comes when you start justifying it. And you will find justification from many different angles. You will start even quoting some dharma shastra and all that, like Arjun was doing in the first chapter. So there are many ways you'll justify. That's when the trouble starts. So because they are very deep and they are in tune with our likes and dislikes, they're harder. But wisdom is the one which tells me that they are not right for me. And why the wisdom is kind of a problem, and right now, like when it gets covered, because wisdom is the one that has not become our second nature yet. So wisdom that we have learned, or we are learning from Bhagavad Gita and from listening to wise people, is still hanging superficially with us. Whereas our these calm, krodh, and all these likes and dislikes and desires, they are more deeply rooted in our subconscious or unconscious mind, you can say. That's where this problem is. If the wisdom becomes strong and you get established in that wisdom, then it becomes your second nature. Then there is no problem. But for us, the problem is because it does not become a second nature. And as you can see that in chapter 2, we did the lakshan of, or the characteristic of the man of wisdom. The person who self-realized his characteristics, he is established in that wisdom. So once you get to that stage, then all these things don't have much meaning. But for us, it's very, very important to understand the psychology, because this is where it is, that, it's superficial for us. That's why it's a problem, okay? So that is another thing. And let's see. If our likes and dislikes, if our wisdom is not wisdom, sorry. If our likes and dislikes are not in tune with our nature, then it's easy to overcome it. So we have to analyze it ourselves, that hey, if something is coming on my path and I'm still keep doing it, like Arjun's question was, why do people do this sin, right? That's where you have to come back and look at it and say, am I justifying it wrongly? And then I will know that they are, because it is in line with my likes and dislikes, that's how I'm doing that, okay? So this is what this particular verse is going to talk about. Any question on this? Any comment, or you want to add a point before we read Swamiji's commentary? Everybody understood the 3 examples? Okay. So let's read Swamiji's commentary now. He takes a couple of angles. He's going to take different ones, and we will learn from it. Who wants to read today? Premji? Go ahead. Oh, we can't hear you, Premji. You have to unmute. Now we cannot see you. I think you pushed the wrong button. Let's see if I can unmute you. No, I think that you have to do it yourself.
Yes.
Ha, Premji, now you're back. Yeah, and we can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. The Lord now illustrates how desire is our foe and how it veils our discrimination. As fire is enveloped by smoke, as a mirror by dust, as an embryo by the womb, so this wisdom or intellect is enveloped by that desire and anger.
So one more thing that I didn't say over here in this verse, he did not use the word wisdom and desire and anger. He just said, this is covered by that. That's all he said. But it's understood because it is related to the previous verse. Next verse, he's actually going to say it. But, यहाँ पर this or that means wisdom is covered by काम and क्रोध. That's what. Okay, go ahead.
3 different examples have been given to illustrate how desires and the consequent anger delude our rational capacity and choke our discrimination. Repetition is an unpardonable crime against the scriptural style, and the Geeta faithfully follows the immortal style common to all Bibles of the world. There is no redundancy or wasteful repetition in the divine song. With this understanding, when we try to read the stanza, we find there are subtle implications in the 3 different illustrations used by the Lord. More is meant here than meets the eye.
So here he's just saying that he's giving you more and more insight into it. And as we already went a little bit more in detail and more here than meets the eye, but let's see how Swamiji explains it,
The discrimination in man is screened off and obstructed in its exercise due to the attachment in his mind for the ever-changing worldly objects. We all know that our attachments to things can fall under 3 distinct categories. Our desire can either be low or vicious, the mind craving for carnal pleasures of flesh, or our ambitions may be for an active excursion in order to achieve power and wealth, to gain strength and might, to win fame and glory. There can also be a burning aspiration to strive and to achieve a diviner perfection and godly self-illumination. Thus, our desires can fall under 3 headings according to the quality of the attachment: inert, tamsika, or active, rajasika, or noble and divine, sattvika. The veiling that are created over our discrimination by these different types of quality, guna, are indicated here by the 3 different examples.
So this should be pretty clear. We went in detail about the 3 different kinds of desires that it can veil,
As fired by smoke, a smoky fireplace shrouded by dark curling smoke can sometimes, if not totally, at least partially, veil the brilliance of the light emitted by the flames. A wick without chimney is less bright than a chimney, proving the examples under review. Even sattvika desires veil the infinite glory of the spirit.
So, just because sometimes people get confused at why is sattvic desire bad, that's not what he's saying. All he's saying is, in the end, remember, he said that you have to rise above all of them. So that is the goal. But sattvic desires are very easy to get over it. That's all it means. Okay, just the right context.
As dust on a mirror, this illustrates the veiling caused by agitations that cover the purer intellect due to our thick desires for glory and power, rajasika. Compared with the former, this is indeed more complete, and the removal of it is naturally more difficult. The smoke rolls off even at a passing whiff of breeze, while the mirror cannot be cleaned even by a storm. It can be polished only by our own effort by dusting it clean with the help of a clean, dry duster. Through the smoke, however thick it might be, the fire can be perceived. Through the dust, if it be thick, no reflection at all can be seen in the mirror. If at all seen, it only will be dim.
So see here, Swamiji even explained it further that how if the smoke is covering the fire, you can still perceive the fire because kabhi thoda kam hota hai, kabhi jada hota hai. So we know consciousness and we know what our true nature is if we have sattvic desire. But if it is rajasic and if the dust is thick, you cannot see it at all. But then if the dust thins out a little bit, you will start seeing it. So see how scientific it is. Go ahead.
As the embryo in the womb, this is an illustration to show how completely the diviner aspect in us is screened off by the...
I think Kamlaji, your thing needs to be muted. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Premji, continue, please.
As the embryo in womb, this is an illustration to show how completely the diviner aspect in us screened off by the low animal appetites and the vulgar desires of the sensuous. The embryo is covered by the womb until it matures, and there is no method of observing it as long as it is in the womb. The veiling is complete, and it can drop off only after a definite period. Similarly, the desires for the carnal flesh enjoyment build, as it were, a womb around the discriminative power in us. And such low mental preoccupation, tamasic, can drop off only after a longer period of evolutionary growth undergone by such a deluded mind and intellect.
So here he's just explaining, and we went into detail that tamasic desires are very, very hard. That's why, if you try to tell somebody, wo sunega hi nahi. He's not going to understand anything because it's completely veiled.
In the true scriptural style, Krishna thus distinguishes between the different texture in the veil that come to cover the soul when the individual is entertaining different types of desires. In short, desire is that which hides the divine in us. We are reminded of Swami Ramatirtha's mathematical equation, which summarizes the philosophical theory propounded in these stanzas.
Manju, you need to mute yourself. Right now,
okay.
Yeah. Some few background noises were coming, but that's fine. Thanks. So basically, just saying that desire is a culprit to cover the divine. And then there is one paragraph. Aap mein hai wo, Premji, the connecting paragraph to the next verse.
In the stanza, this is not clearly.
You can read that because we're going to go to the next one.
Okay. In this stanza, it is not clearly stated which covers what. The literal translation of the word as they stand in this couplet only say, so is this covered by it. The two pronouns, it and this, are defined in the following stanza, and therein we find an explanation of both.
So as I told you that in the previous verse he's saying this and that, but we know this means wisdom and that means it's covered by those two. Okay, any question, comment? Somebody wants to add anything to this whole philosophy here? No? You guys have become very quiet in the class. Either all of you have become jnani or it's like, I don't even know what I'm doing maybe.
No, आप इतनी अच्छी तरह समझा देती हैं कि समझ आ गई है.
Okay.
It's just that you're explaining it well.
Thank you.
So we don't have any questions.
Good. So that's good. But still, if you want to add something, please feel free. Okay?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be the only one talking. You guys can talk too. Okay. So shall we go to the next one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So here is verse 39 now. Avrutam jnanametena jnanino nityaverina कामरूपेण कौन्तेय दुष्पुरेणानलेन च. आवृतम is enveloped. Cover कर देना जिसको बोलते हैं. ज्ञानम, we know ज्ञान, wisdom. Etena, by this. ज्ञानी नः, of the wise. नित्य वेरिना. Remember the word वेरिनम हमने बोला था enemies. और अभी उन्होंने और जोर से बोला. क्या बोला? नित्य वेरिना means constant enemy. Okay? ये नहीं कि आज है कल. No. If you have those desires, constant enemy they are of you. Kama rupena. Whose form is desire. Means, see, this is also very interesting if you think about it. Psychology is to वो डिजायर के रूप में है. मतलब हमको डिजायर की जैसे दिखाई नहीं देगा वो. We just start doing things we don't even know. When we get angry, we always feel like, oh, somebody else made me angry. But actually it is your own desire. We saw the whole science of it, that why somebody gets angry. So वो काम का रूप धारण करता है ये. You know, that's what it is telling you. Kaunteya. Kaunteya is son of Kunti. And as I was telling you that Krishna Bhagwan is like the greatest psychiatrist out there. Every time he uses another name of Arjun, he is telling you something. उसको कुंती पुत्र इसलिए बोल रहा है क्योंकि कुंती ने इतनी सफरिंग की थी, टॉलरेट की थी अपनी लाइफ में. Her husband passed away. She couldn't have children. Then she had to, get the children by the divine forces. And then jungle में जाना पड़ा उसको. ये वो. Hey, he's telling Arjun, hey, become strong. Fight with your enemies with all this strength. Like the bearing fortitude that you should have, like your mother. That's why he's telling him like that. Okay? So that's why you can't take it. Dushpurena. Dushpurena, unappeasable. Analen, like fire. It is this desire, calm and krodh is, it cannot, like a fire doesn't get satisfied. Fire never says, don't put any more fuel. Jitna fuel डालेगा उतना भड़कती जाती है, right? So desire is like that, it's telling you. And you saw that the previous example, अभी और भी strong example दे रहे हैं कृष्ण भगवान. पहले वाले में क्या बोला था? Great eater बोला था उसको. Keeps eating. अब बोल रहे fire की तरह. Because now California में fire होती है ना, अभी देखा ना आपने कैसे पूरा, सैकड़ों चीजें जला देती है, That's what it is talking about. That's how the desire and this thing is, that you can't control it. It's that strong. Okay? And cha is and. Okay? So now what he's saying, that how the Krishna Bhagwan had mentioned that when you have likes and dislikes, everybody has a likes and dislike, right? He said that no, everybody is born with it. And we know even animals have it. One of the Swami was saying even a small insect has likes and dislikes. It knows where to go and bite. It will like one skin more than the others. So everybody has likes and dislikes. But Krishna Bhagwan's main point was, don't come under its sway when you have a goal. Okay, that's what it was. So here he's telling you that once the calm and krodh covers your wisdom, you start coming under the sway of your likes and dislikes. Because we have to connect these verses to the previous ones now. Like I was saying, that he's building up to go up, in the psychology, but we cannot forget what we learned before. So that is a connection that it covers it. And the covering means we comes under the sway. So हम लोग को likes and dislike का पता भी नहीं चलता, because they are like roadside robber. They jump upon us, we start doing it, then we start going more deeper and deeper. It turns into, I hate this, I love this kind of thing. And it's going to come now, that how it gets converted into love and hate. And when you justify it, it goes deeper into your psyche and you intellectually start justifying. Then to tumhara vinash nishchit hai, according to him. Spiritual vinash he's talking about. So that's where we are going with it. And then he's calling them constant enemies of the Jnani. That's a very, very significant over here, that how he's telling them. So he's a constant, these Kam and Krodh are the constant enemy of a Jnani, because Jnani considers them as his enemy. What about a Jnani now, a person like who, doesn't know this? उसको तो बहुत अच्छा लगता है अपने desires को fulfill करना, right? Desire आती तो बहुत खुश हो जाता है. Oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and then he will start इतना effort करेगा उसको पाने के लिए वगैरह वगैरह. So वो अज्ञानी का काम है. ज्ञानी का जब आता है तो उसको अगर वो फिसल भी जाता है ना, उसको मालूम है this is my enemy, I gotta conquer it. Okay, that's the difference. That's why he's called them that वो नित्य वैरिणव of the ज्ञानी. Okay, so and the ignorant man को क्या होता है कि वो पहले तो वो बहुत खुश होएगा कि मेरे को डिजायर आ गई, I have to fulfill and all that. फिर जब उसकी प्रॉब्लम शुरू होएगी ना, and प्रॉब्लम क्या होएगी? sorrow, pain, fear, jealousy, anger, I can't sleep, because the desire is constantly bugging him. He can't sleep. And then we know now, the medical people will tell you hypertension, heart attacks, all those are a result of this, So it start coming to his, physical thing. It start bothering him. And who knows, liver, kidney, everything. Then he might wake up. But the Jnani is the one who पहले ही समझ जाता है कि this is my enemy. This is my nitya enemy. So that's where he's talking about it. And then another difference between Jnani and Ajnani is, Ajnani जो है ना, वो दूसरे को blame करेगा. Oh, because of my mother-in-law, this is happening, or my friend is making me upset, or because of them I'm miserable. Something like that. So but Jnani knows, hey, this is not fault of anybody. This is my own mind playing tricks on me. My own likes and dislikes are strong. That's why I'm having a problem. So that's where it is. So basically, enemy is the one who comes in the form of our own desire. That's what we have to remember. And then that's what propels us to do this sin. Remember original question of Arjun, what makes us do? That's what here is coming down to, that, that's the one that propels us to do wrong action and things like that, okay? And fire, I already said that. And then, so, one of the Swami was saying, like I told you, that he's using this war language, right? That, hey, this is your enemy. So then the next question is going to come, where does this enemy reside and how do I conquer it? So that's next few verses is going to come. But this Swami said, now is Har Har Mahadev. It's a warfare. Okay. तैयार हो जाओ उसके लिए. I thought that was very funny. And then also, I think I already discussed that it is like a fire, yeah. So any question on this? So basically, what it is that if you want to spiritually advance, then you should know that Kam and Krodh are your enemies. Otherwise, अगर संसार में तो करना है, करते जाओ जो भी करना है. But, here he's talking about that. Okay. Any question? Who wants to read? If somebody wants to add something, please do. Who's my next reader over here? Do I have to pick if you're not volunteering then? Neeluji, you have not read. Yeah, go ahead, Neeluji.
This stanza vividly explains to us.
Oh, before that you do that, sorry, just read the English translation of the words, Johanna. Enveloped, O son of Kunti.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks.
Enveloped, O son of Kunti, is wisdom by this constant enemy of the wise in the form of desire, which is difficult to appease as the fire. This stanza vividly explains to us that discrimination, Janana,
Gnana, actually it is Jnana.
Jnana?
Yeah, Gyan, yeah.
Okay. The capacity to distinguish the real from the unreal, the permanent from the impermanent, the true from the false, which gives man his higher status, in the scale of evolution is the divine faculty that gets screened off from us due to our own greedy and insatiable desires. The pronouns in the previous stanza now stand clearly elucidated. The discriminative capacity in us, this diyam, gets screened off by the insatiable desires, by it, tina.
So idam and tena means it means idam, and tena means this. So he's just defining what those terms are, which we already talked about. That this means, desire, wisdom gets covered by that is, go ahead. Oh yeah, there is one connecting one. You have it?
He now tells us which are the seats of desire, which by enveloping wisdom become the enemy of the whole world. The seat of the enemy being known, it is easy to kill it.
So as I told you that basically over here now he has declared it as their enemy. So the next question Arjun is going to have is, because he's a warrior, okay, कहाँ है मेरा enemy, कहाँ hide कर रहा है, मेरे को बताओ भी जाके उसको मारता हूँ मैं, right? So Krishna Bhagavan is going to tell in the next verse where the enemy is hiding, and then further he's going to say how to conquer it. So that's where we are. Any question on this particular verse? Comment, question? Want to add something? No? So usually I only do 2 verses because it's only like 11:40 today.
It's very small also.
Yeah, but it's small but significant. And the reason I found it very, very significant, because this is where all the effort lies for everybody. Think about it. It's very easy to get the, knowledge, we are eternal, all that consciousness and all that. But most of us have a problem. I'm not experiencing it yet. These are the things that you have to practice on. So when you say spiritual sadhana, this is exactly what we have to do. Not come under the sway of likes and dislikes, know what it is and rise above it. And then that becomes like the platform to rise above all 3 gunas. So first you have to make it more and more like, if it is very tamasic, make it rajasic, from rajasic make it sattvic. That is the path. Because अगर तामसिक को बोलोगे तो वो नहीं jump कर पाएगा सात्विक पे. Certainly, So that's why Krishna Bhagavan said that if you are full of lots of desire, then first make those desire less selfish. Selfless desire bana do usko. And then you work selflessly in the world. And then from working selflessly, then one day will come, you will say, okay, I'm still not feeling fulfilled. I'm doing all these things and I'm still not feeling fulfilled. That will push you towards, further spiritual path. And then you will understand this wisdom that Krishna Bhagavan is talking about. So that's basically the path over here. So now tell me one thing. Either we can do one more verse or we can go to Kathopanishad. What would you guys like to do?
One more.
One more? Okay, so we can go one more. So basically now he's going to tell you that where does it reside. So let's try to understand the enemy. If it's a very smart enemy, do you think he'll have one place to reside or several different places to reside? Several. And what does the enemy do? थोड़ा सा danger होएगा तो वो और अंदर घुस जाएगा. Like पहले बाहर खड़ा होगा, फिर घर के अंदर घुस जाएगा, फिर उसका एक बेसमेंट होएगा, वहाँ पूरा दरवाजा बंद करके बैठ जाएगा, खाना पीना लेके बैठ जाएगा, with like all kind of food and all that will keep there so that no way you cannot find it. So just think of it that way. So even this calm and Krodh is very smart. It has several different places it resides in our body. And then, one of the Swami was saying कि वो ऐसे छुप के बैठ जाएगा बेसमेंट में कि कोई भी वो जो उनका जो है ना ड्रोन कोई उसको पकड़ नहीं सकता, बिकॉज एकदम घुस के बैठा हुआ अंदर. So that's how it is. It's so scientific, it's unbelievable. Okay. Indriya, this is verse 40 now. Indriyani mano buddhi. Now I did not kind of practice this a little bit. Adhisthana muchyate. So I have to break the sandhi. Aiter vimohayatyesha jnanamavrutya dehinam. Indriyanis are the senses. Man is the mind. Buddhi is the intellect. Asya is its adhishthanam. Adhishthanam means uski seat. वहाँ जाके बैठ जाता है वो. Uchyate, it's called. Aite is by these. Vimohayati, deludes. Eshaha, this. Jnanam, wisdom. Avrutya, this word came even before. Avrutya is enveloped. Dehinam, the embodied. So yeah, embodied means the us, jiva. One who is residing in this body is embodied, So we think we are the body. No, we are residing in the body. So that's another distinction where we have to remember. Okay. So now it's telling you that there are 3 different places it hides. One is the senses, one is mind, and one is intellect. Now let's see how the senses mind. So usually, like we had discussed, that everybody has a likes and dislike. They express at the level of the senses, 5 senses that we have: seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. Everybody likes certain kind of food, certain kind of temperature, certain kind of smell, certain kind of, all that we know. So it expresses, so this is where it is hiding. That's at the likes and dislike level. फिर क्या होता है कि अगर तुमने उसके स्वे में तुम आ गए लाइक्स एंड डिसलाइक के, और तुमने उसमें इमोशन डाल दिया, ओके, इमोशन मतलब oh yeah, this is really good, I really like this, or I hate this, I don't want this. तो वो likes and dislikes से love and hate बन जाता है. And it penetrates further and it resides in your emotions now, in your mind level, which is an emotional seat. Okay? Now क्या होता है, अभी love and hate बन गया. अगर तुम्हारी discrimination अभी भी open है, तुम्हारा wisdom थोड़ा strong है, love and hate में भी तुमको तुम्हारा conscious bother करेगा, है कि नहीं? That, like sometimes we hate somebody and we get angry at them and we say, no, we shouldn't be doing that. That's not the right thing to do. But when we don't do that and we start justifying it, then that is when the enemy goes deeper into the bunker. Now it's hiding that you can't even see it. Because justification of your wrong actions are the most dangerous thing according to Krishna Bhagwan. Okay? And then you will see that sometimes, one of the Swami said it very nicely. He said कि कुछ करना होता है ना किसी को, और उसको मालूम है कि ये गलत है, तो वो फिर इंटरनेट पे जाएगा, ढूंढेगा कि भाई वो फलाना आदमी बोल रहा है ऐसा करने के लिए, so that's why I want to do this. Or they will go to the Shastras and find some verse, which is kind of in line little bit, that you can twist it. Krishna Bhagwan or some other person, Shankaracharya may not be saying that, but you will bring it that way. And say, see, I told you so, that, that's how you justify. Then it becomes a big danger. And then it is very hard to conquer. So, and in the following verses, he's going to tell you that it is a lot easier to conquer the enemy when it is a little bit superficially there, like, at likes and dislike level. Enemy बाहर खड़ा है, likes and dislike, पकड़ के उसको खत्म कर दो. थोड़ा अंदर आ गया और difficult हो जाएगा काम and क्रोध, और बंकर में घुस गया तो एकदम problem. Okay? So then when it goes to the intellect, then you are kind of finished, because then you won't be able to, unless, you really go back to your wisdom somehow. So this is what this verse is talking about. Any question on this? Where the hiding places of Kam and Krodh? It's very interesting. I find these verses very, very interesting. I don't know about all of you, but this is my favorite part of chapter 3, because he just, it's amazing that how he has come up, with the examples. Okay. Who wants to read? Anilji, you want to read? You haven't read for a while.
the senses, the mind, and the intellect are said to be its seats. Through these, it deludes the embodied by veiling his wisdom. As a true soldier, Arjun understands that there is an inner enemy called desire, which, like an efficient saboteur, undermines the wealth and security of his inner kingdom. And as a true prince, the royal demand of Arjun is for immediate information as to the exact hideout of this dangerous bandit. Krishna, as the spiritual teacher, has to indicate to his adventurous student where exactly the den of this devil is, from where he plans to nefarious activities. From where he plans his nefarious activities, indicating the secret fortresses of this inner enemy desire. The Lord says, the senses, the mind, and the intellect are said to be its seats of